And it's the Dolphins that's the first one that has the chance to be the number one seed in the AFC, Trista, if they can stay healthy. And you've already beaten the Chargers. You win at New England. Obviously, New England was a tougher.
Big win.
I mean, that right there, going there, winning at New England against that defense, that to me was a bigger test than what we got from the Chargers with them. With the Chargers, it's just keep pace, offense against offense.
Yeah.
But New England, that was going up against a really good defense. So for them to be able to do that, the Dolphins are 2-0 right now, and they still have 9 home games. This team has a bright future ahead of them this season as long as Tua can stay healthy.
Yeah, and I think what's impressive to me about them is their defense, mostly. And you could say, well, listen, Eckler was able to go crazy, and there was a lot of high-scoring game. It was a high-scoring game against the Chargers, but, like, Justin Herbert is a boss, right? Kellen Moore is one of the best offensive minds in the league. So, of course, I think the Chargers are going to be able to put up some yards and some points, and that was a gritty on-the-road win for the Dolphins. But the Patriots looked pretty good in week 1, and you shut them down. You made them largely look pretty mediocre, and that's a divisional win. And their defense in general, when it needed to be, was pretty stout. So I'm very impressed with the Dolphins. I think this could be a team that could win the AFC East. I think that they could. I think it honestly could be Niners-Dolphins Super Bowl.
I do wonder, though, if the idea is to buy low on a team. I'm not sure we're at the low point for Denver yet. There is... If Wilson truly is washed, and this is a longer-term rebuild than maybe Sean Payton and Broncos fans realized, if this is not going to be right away, Denver year one, competitive in the middle and top end of the AFC, I think you have to get more than 6.5 points playing a team that can rack it up like Miami can. So that's what makes me nervous about the Broncos side of this, is that, sure, buy low, but are we sure this is low? Because I think they have farther to fall.
They need him because he's a great second punch for this Steelers offense. I still think that there is that sense that, yes, Jaylen Warren, when he runs, he looks so much faster, right? Because he's able to break open in space. But go back and look at a lot of the plays that he does break. It's because defenses don't look for him the way they look for Najee Harris. Most times when Najee Harris is getting the ball, he's getting hit at the line of scrimmage, or defenses are sending 2 linebackers to blitz, and he has to make 3 guys miss just to get 3 yards. Whereas Jaylen Warren, he's getting the ball, and there's about a guy not 5 yards from him, and he's able to hit his top speed. But I will say this. Last year, when they brought in him as an undrafted free agent, and he was fighting his way through training camp, Eddie Faulkner, Steelers running back coach, told me straight up, he's like, Chris, we had that guy as the 6th best running back in the draft class. And when we saw he went undrafted, we were like, we're getting that guy. We're finding a way to incorporate it into this offense. So they're more than happy to do so. But Jaylen Warren's build also lends him to being not an everyday back, because if he runs the way he does about 20 to 25 times a game, the way they want to give the ball to Najee Harris, he's going to experience more injuries. We've seen it with smaller backs before, but I do think that this is a Steelers offense that you'll see over time start to lean on him in different playmaking situations and find a rhythm. But a lot of this still depends on, can this Steelers offensive line make progress? Towards the end of last season, they were playing a lot better than they started. But in these first 2 games, even with Isaac Seumalo, the player they got from the Eagles, who Jason Kelce was like, oh, they took my favorite guy. They have not played well. They haven't looked coordinated. They've been able to kind of mitigate Nick Bosa and Myles Garrett from being extra playmakers in the games, but they haven't blocked well in the run game, and Kenny Pickett hasn't felt comfortable in the pocket. If they can improve their blocking in the run game, I think you'll see Najee Harris start to take over games a little bit more. Last night, there were 2 times that they gave him space. He got 17 yards and 25 yards on those runs. He has 3 runs already over 15 yards. The problem is the Steelers' offensive line only gives him 1 or 2 of those a game. The rest, he's getting hit at the line of scrimmage. That is going to be the determining factor. But Jaylen Warren, certainly a fantasy value, because the Steelers will try to get it to him in space when teams fall asleep on him.
Chris, there was a lot of expectations for year 2 for Kenny Pickett and really this offense. And I hate to say they look good in preseason. That's a dangerous phrase. But the reality of it is we can use that phrase and say they looked really good in preseason. They're 31st right now in rushing. They're 26th in points scored. They're 18th in passing yards right now. I know it's not just one person that gets all of the blame for any of these situations. It's a collection of things not going right. But how much of the responsibility and maybe the problem is on Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator?
Matt Canada is certainly part of it, though Steelers fans would like to say he's all of it. I disagree with that. But Mike Tomlin even kind of called it out a little bit in his Tuesday press conference. He talked about how like the Steelers have to scheme better for what opponents like to do. They have to come out in the start of games and look sharp and look sharper and start faster. That's what they did in the preseason very well. But part of what happens in the preseason, as you know, defenses don't game plan for offenses in preseason. You're going into the preseason games looking to just execute what you do, make sure that we can kind of see as coaches that, okay, you know your assignments, you're doing this right, you're doing that right. So the Steelers were able to go into those games, kind of call what they wanted to call and just operate what they wanted to do, and teams weren't trying to scheme to stop specific things that they see on tape. And I think that led to some of the success that they had. Now, granted, at the same time, there's also just been routine plays that haven't been about what defenses have done. Kenny Pickett has just missed them. So it's a mixed bag here for the Steelers. And I think that's part of what's been the problem, is that it's not just Matt Canada. It's not just the offensive line. It's not just Kenny Pickett not seeing open receivers and not hitting open receivers. It's kind of been a mixed bag of all those problems. But this is a guy, Kenny Pickett, who studies film religiously, who pushes himself. I've had sources tell me that last year, even before he was the starting quarterback, when he couldn't get reps with the first team, what he would do is he would come into the facility early in the morning before practice, and he would run through every play that they were going to practice. The first team was going to practice that day just by himself, go through the motions, go through exactly what he has to do and what he has to read. He is that dedicated to getting sharper. I covered him at the University of Pittsburgh. He takes time to grow, but when he gets to where he wants to be so that he can understand and have a true command of an offense, that's what the Steelers want, because he's a true captain. He's a guy that when he's on his game, he's making the right decisions, and that's when he's truly the most dangerous. He's not there yet, obviously, but the Steelers have confidence that if they keep letting him build, keep letting him learn, and they protect him, they keep him from getting injured, he can be that guy in the future.
I obviously Colorado's defense. You saw him against Colorado State.
Not
it was
great.
rough. Colorado State could do whatever they wanted out there. And Oregon is just a step up in class. TCU was not the same TCU that we saw last year that went to the national title game and got walloped. This is just not your mother's TCU. This is just a team that's lost a lot of talent to the NFL. And now you go up against a guy who's been playing college football in Bo Nix for damn near 10 years. So he's got a decade in the college football game, Bo Picks. And I don't think Dion and them boys are ready. 20 and a half points is the spread. I would take Oregon team total over. I would take Oregon first half. I am all over Bo Nix passing yard props. Can't get those until probably Thursday or Friday. Definitely Friday. Don't know what I'm going to do with the full game, but there's a lot of angles in this game to play.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of money
Agreed.
on Colorado.
There you go.
They're
Trista,
getting-
I like the Bo Nix passing yards look. I'm on the Oregon team total over.
Yep.
I mean, you said it. TCU, that offense isn't as good as they were last year. It was game one of the season. They put up 42 points. And remember, Colorado had 2 interceptions in the end zone in that game. So TCU easily could have dropped 50 on them. Colorado State, you mentioned. I mean, that's a good group of 5 offense, but that's not Oregon's offense. So I think Oregon being at home at the crib, I think they can score a little bit. I like the team total over there. I'm not touching the side. I'm not touching the total. I know Chase likes the over in the game. I think if you like Colorado to cover, I think you like the over.
Yes.
Right? Because, they're not keeping Oregon below, 30 points. Oregon's getting theirs. They're scoring 40. They're scoring 50. So if Colorado's going to cover, I think that correlates to the over. I like the Ducks team total over. I think they're going to be able to score at will in this game.